One of my bugbears is the phrase raising awareness. The phrase raising awareness just seems so far removed from actual change that I sometimes wonder what it's all really about. I'll be honest with you, the reason why I walk 100 kilometres in 48 hours or less is only partly to raise money for Oxfam. It's mainly because I'm in my middle ages and I need a meaningless physical challenge to allow myself to pretend that I'm not ageing. So I favour organisations that seek to go for concrete change, and some of those organisations are very new. Some of them go back longer than I have done. One of my favourites is Greenpeace. You can count on Greenpeace to make real concrete actions in places where everybody sees the results. And from Greenpeace we have tonight David Hood. We're talking about corporate social responsibility. Let's drill right down into one of those great examples that we've heard, because David is the project manager on Greenpeace's Nestle project in Australia. But I think first we should allow him to talk a little bit more about the overall aims of Greenpeace and his work with the organisation. I should say he started achieving positive change when he was 8 years old by trying to raise money to save baby seals. So let's hear a big "ah" for David.
First of all, I feel like it's a bit like Empire Strikes Back because Nick's hijacked half my talk. But I guess for me, I feel like a bit of a noob in terms of social media. I have a lot of advantage, and I'm quite lucky to work for a large NGO. And I know a few people in the room tonight, and I've worked and volunteered with a few different organisations. And I've had access to resources and experiences which I feel really privileged to be able to share, and I've really encouraged people to get to know each other and talk to each other here tonight, because there's other people here in the same situation, I'm sure. So I think a lot of the similarities between the people in the room in here is that most of us want to do something for good. Whether that's working for an agency, whether that's working in web design, or whether that's working for a not-for-profit or in the community sector. And I can't help but think, we're talking about social media for social good. And I think the fact that we're all here together and we've connected mostly, I think, via Twitter and Facebook, and the events that have brought us together via those, I think, is a bit of a testament to the fact that social media is effective for social good. And I think that the networks and the relationships and the friendships that I'm finding that are developing via those make it a really powerful forum to move forward and for the movement to grow. So in terms of the work that I do at Greenpeace, with, like a lot of other organisations, you tend to have a job description. And your job description for me started off basically as an admin position. But I'm a pretty inquisitive person, and I like to learn a lot, and I like to push myself. So I decided I wanted to learn a bit more about strategic planning. I was lucky I was working with the head of campaigns at Greenpeace, so a pretty good position to be in. And I had the advantage of looking at a few different campaigns, whether it's climate change, whales, forests, or GE. And before anybody tweets any negative comments about, oh, here we go, we're talking about climate change, just like Q&A, that's about it. I had the advantage of looking at, we've got a campaign, we've got objectives for that campaign. We've got different tools and processes we can do to help achieve the outcomes of that campaign. That includes a communications plan. Now, for a lot of campaigns, I don't think that communications plan is fully utilised in terms of social media. And I'm pretty sure from having conversations with people here that work with agencies, getting clients to understand that social media is just not an add-on to their campaign can be a bit of a struggle. There's, obviously I think because most of us are here because we get social media, and it's not a new argument, but I think there's still a long way to go before the majority of the people that we work with actually understand that. So I guess, I had the opportunity last year to move into a position where I was working on a campaign, and part of that actually involved me starting to use social media more. So similar to Nick, I was a bit of a latecomer to Twitter. So I actually only got on actively in about August last year. And, as a lot of people here, I got addicted fairly quickly. I saw a lot of potential there purely as an opportunity to connect with people that were like-minded. And I actually found it really inspiring. I think it's been really helpful for me in my work in the organisation, even when it's not part of my work in the organisation. Connecting to those people, I'm sure a lot of you have found similarly. So I worked on a campaign. I project leaded that campaign. It was the first project I got to work in at the organisation. It was a really good opportunity and very steep learning curve. I had the privilege of working from Ben, standing up the back there in the green T-shirt from Republic of Everyone. And for me, this was the first time that I got to work with an agency. So I learnt a lot about, you know, when we're looking at design work that needs to be done, looking at user interface for web, what exactly is our target audience? What are we trying to achieve? This is the sort of stuff that a lot of people don't realise when they're working in a not-for-profit or a community organisation, is an understanding of all what those things mean. And I think for a lot of agencies, they find it difficult maybe to explain that. So, you know, my hope out of tonight, before I wrap up, is actually that we all start to talk to each other and that we all start to get an understanding of what we can do together, because I don't think that social good is any one single person or any one single sector's domain. I think it's, you know, call me an optimist, but finding more and more and more that the kind of access that I'm getting to people and ideas and a whole bunch of different resources is growing because of the connections that I've made through social media, and to a whole bunch of really awesome people. Quite a few are in this room tonight. So basically have a look around, have a bit of a chat tonight to somebody with you, and get to know each other and start working on something together. And I'm going to leave it there because I would like to hear what people want to ask, and I'd like to hear what people like to talk about. And if you want to know a bit more about the Nestle campaign, you can ask me later.